Hello everyone! Good morning, hope you're doing well out there. We are live on today, Friday, the 9th of May. We made it through the week. It was only a 4-day week in the UK, but we did make it. Marvellous, we love that for us. What are we doing today? Well, being honest, I have no idea how today's going to go. Today, we are building a random commander. I have a little button on my browser. And basically, when I hit it, it's going to generate us a random card that could be a commander. And we're going to build a deck from it. Yeah, I've generally no idea how this is going to go. I've built plenty of decks before. Once we work out what the deck's going to be, like the process should be fine. But, yeah, no idea what commander we're going to generate. If you want to do this yourself, I'll put the link down to the random generator. A friend made it for me. But effectively, it's just a bit of code that randomly generates you a commander from Scryfall. Yeah, we could get some garbage, I'm not going to lie. I will, if it's a commander I've built before on the channel, I will re-roll. I think that's fair. Whether we re-roll if it's just complete garbage and unplayable, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, generally no idea how this is going to go. So let's move over. Alright, I'm going to hit the Scryfall random button. And we're going to load it up and see what we get. What? Okay, I've never even seen this card before. And... okay, right. And it has a flip that isn't in here. Right, we got one that hasn't even been released yet. Zenos, Galvus. 3 black, legendary creature, human, noble warrior. My first friend. When Zenos, Galvus enters, choose a creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Creatures other than Zen, Galvus, and so it's going to get -2/-2. Whenever the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform it. Alright, we're going to have to actually look up what the backside of this card does. I didn't expect to get a card that hadn't come out yet. When was this card even spoiled? I've not actually seen this card before. So when the other creature dies, it transforms into Shinryu Transcendent Rival. Flying, and as you know, as this opponent transforms into Shinryu, choose an opponent. Burning Chains. When the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. It's kind of vibey. Hey Roberto, yeah, we got a spoiler for bloody Final Fantasy already. Yeah. Alright, screw it, we're going to do it. I mean, this is going to be when we might have got to next month's anyway, and there might be cards that from the Final Fantasy. At least with this one, it doesn't look like it massively needs other cards in the set. Like it doesn't have like a Final Fantasy set mechanic in it or anything like that. So yeah, cool. Alright, the other caveat is it has to be in Moxfield. If this is so new it's not in Moxfield yet, then we might move on to them, but let's give it a go. Who is your commander? Right, well, we can sack off legal commanders. Alright, it's in Scryfall. Oh. I bet you this isn't even in EDH Trek yet. Let's have a quick look. No results found. Marvellous. Okay, so we're going in blind. I don't have to do work on a Friday morning. I was like, this will be nice. This will be easy. We'll get some bad one from Legends. It'll be like 7 mana. It won't do anything. And we can just build something janky. But this is a deck you're actually going to want. Right, okay. I'm so annoyed. Alright. So, how are we actually going to be building this deck? So, it does flip into an 8/8. So, basically, this is going to be a Voltron deck. A Voltron deck with the ability to sack other creatures. So, let's have a look at this. When it enters, choose an opponent... Oh, choose a creature an opponent controls until end of turn. So, it comes in and it's a mini board wipe. Interesting. That's not too bad. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, we transform it. So, effectively, when we when the other creature dies or we just kill it, we're in black, we can just Doomblade it. Like, it doesn't say it has to be a non-token creature, it can just be like a 1/1 or some shit. That's fine. Yeah, we can just pick the worst creature on the board and then remove it. And then when it flips into an 8/8 flyer. Then we can... Yeah, we then choose an opponent who's on the least life, and we start wailing on them. And then when we kill that player, we win the game. That is kind of a cool alt-win condition. It does kind of mean that the rest of the table is going to try and protect that player, which is interesting. I know, small cat. I know, right? Okay, let's build this Final Fantasy commander then. Jesus Christ. All right, so let's do our categories. We need to get a move on. All right, so Voltron bits. Probably about 12. The numbers we're going to be doing are going to be a rough base, and it's basically so that we're guaranteed to see enough of them over the course of a game. Card draw 10. Interaction 10 probably. Actually, we'll probably do 12 because it sounds like we're going to want to have a kill spell in hand when we cast Zenos. Protection. We are going to want a fair bit of protection in this because it is a Voltron-y deck. Also, we could do some stuff with, like, choosing a creature and opponent control. Yeah, like, we could do some sacrificey stuff, maybe. I don't know if there's ways of gaining control of the creature in black. There's some cool things we can do with this. Protection, interaction, ramp. I forgot. I did this earlier in the week. Just forgot that ramp is an important part of a commander deck. Ramp 10. All right. Can't believe we're building a bloody Final Fantasy one. All right, now we have to do the annoying bit of math to make sure that we hit playables. So 12 plus 10 plus 10 plus 12 plus 6 is 50. So we'll have about 14 more cards on top of this. Then let's just look at... Let's buff up Voltron to 18. And there must just be some other ways of... Just ways of taking out a player. We're going to leave this a bit vague, but this could be stuff of just like the Sorin that makes a player's life total 10, that kind of thing. Like, there'll be ways of just hosing one player, basically, out of a game, and that's what we're going to be doing with this. Marvellous. Alright. So, let's bring the decks over. Love all of this for us. Alright, let's jump in. Bloody random button. Maybe next time we should do like 3. What else could we have got? I've never seen you before. See, we could have had a cool samurai. Oh well. Alright. Zenos it is. It does look... It does look fun. I just wasn't ready for a card that I had never seen because it hasn't come out yet. All right. Let's be a bit cheeky because we are working with one we haven't seen before. Let's do tags. Let's do themes. Let's have a look at Voltron and have a look at mono black stuff. Just see what other decks are sort of running in these colours. So yeah, so Skitherix and Yargle and Corlash. So I have had a Corlash deck before. That could be... Yeah, I like Corlash as a mono-black Voltron-y deck. Ooh. Okay, I like the fact that... So, yeah, for our taking out another player, we do have Phage. So I think we want to run some unblockable stuff in here. I'm just getting some inspiration, basically. It's not a dragon, is it? It is a dragon! Oh, that's hot. Oh, so we can do some dragon synergy stuff with, like, each non-dragon creature gets -X on end of turn. So we will need to flip it before it becomes that dragon, but that's kind of vibey. I'm assuming, if you know in the chat, what Final Fantasy game is this from? Is it there? Is it Final Fantasy 14? Is my Roman numeral knowledge good? Do let me know. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here that I think we can use as a base, and this is kind of okay. At least this is a good example of how you build a commander deck when there isn't a list in Scryfall deck. When there isn't a list in Scryfall, you go in and you find stuff that is kind of adjacent to it. So under like we know it's roughly going to be a black Voltron deck, so we can look at black Voltron in Scryfall and kind of get ideas as a base. We'll then kind of tailor it a little bit, like we will. Like, the way to tailor this is we could also gift our opponents some dodgy creatures. Marvellous. Thank you, Roberto. It is from 14. We love that. All right. So, yeah, I guess we can add some There are ways of giving our opponents some dorky creatures. Like, what's the Trojan horse called? A crow and horse. Like, we could actually lean into gifting our opponents some rubbish stuff. I don't hate that as kind of like a more thematic. Like, there is the troll as well. Clackbridge troll. I'm kind of okay with this kind of stuff in here as well. I think that's kind of synergistic, at least. But okay, cool. Should I rename the video? No, we'll do that later. I'll rename the video after we're live, because I would assume people are going to actually be searching for this at some point. Alright, so let's do the Voltron stuff first, and then we'll kind of work in with some bits. So I believe I can drop and drag this into this. So, what's some good Voltron bits? So Blackblade Reforge is great in a Voltron-y deck. Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Equip legendary creature 3, or equip equip any creature for 7. So this, by Voltron, we're just trying to hit people for that 21 point commander damage win. In theory, that's only if with Blackblade Reforge equipped to the 8/8 side of this. That means it's only like 2 hits. Like realistically, we don't need to make this that much bigger to get in for 2 hits. That's a nice little number. So let's get Blackblade Reforged in. Change tags. Voltron. Alright. Lashwraith and Nightmare Lash are both great. 4 mana. Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each swamp you control. Nightmare Lash is basically the same. This one does have Living Weapon, but they're both pretty solid. Shockingly, in this mono black deck, we're going to have a lot of swamps. So you can get in, as can Nightmare Lash. You're both great. Fire Shrieker giving Double Strike. Double Strike on an 8/8 on the flip side of this. That's 16 commander damage, so that means we can hit them once with the front side and twice with and then once with the back side, and we take him out of the game. That's pretty good. Tainted Strike is vibey. It doesn't actually kill them though. We'll add Commander's Plate as some protection. Give our commander possibly protection from anything other than our commander. Just change tags, yes. I do think Infect is going to be good in this. Effectively, it makes the commander like a 3-card combo. Commander plus Double Strike plus Tainted Strike is a kill on either side. And not like annoyingly, it's only +1/+0, so we can't. So it's not a direct kill. Plus them to 9 poison, so maybe not specifically Tainted Strike. But I think maybe something else. We'll put Whisper Silk Cloak in. Just great bit of evasion. Do need to be careful with the Shroud on this. This isn't going to be a... Actually, we'll call you Protection. This isn't going to be a Lightning Greaves deck, but it is going to be a Swiftfoot Boots deck. We don't... Giving our commander Shroud is not the best of ideas when we want to be equipping it with stuff. You'll quickly learn that doesn't work. Yeah, just some generic bits in here. We'll probably get these in to do it when we get to our ramp and stuff. But let's keep looking at Voltron bits to try and keep this on theme rather than just going down the generic list. So I do like... So in a mono black deck, I do like the Grey Merchant type stuff, but this isn't really what we kind of want with this. We also might look at the doubling mana stuff when we get to it, but let's just look at... Ooh, Silent Arbiter's a vibe. That means that if we can give it, like, Menace, then it's going to get through. I like Silent Arbiter. I think that's going to be a pretty solid way of taking out a player. So we can call that kind of like a taking out a player or like a win con. I know, meow. Come here. Meow. Do you like Final Fantasy, darling? You do? Which one have you played? Alright. I do like a card like Brass Squire. Just being able to cheat on some of these mana costs means that we can just be more efficient with it. It does also transform, so the things will be attached to it, so that's good. Let's get you in Voltron. You do need some other creatures in a Voltron deck as well. I like Phyrexian Obliterator, that might come in. Plaguemere, I can see where this is going, because basically this whole list is just going to be a combination of the best cards run in all of these decks up the top. But because the top one is Skithiryx, or Skittles, the Blight Dragon, that's where you're going to get the Infect stuff. I don't think we want just incidental bits of Infect. I think we want, one big bit of Infect, basically. So I know, yeah, so Nightmare's kind of... Nightmare's cool, but... so we're still looking at Voltron bits. Probably going to be... what instance? Ooh, we could run... Hatred isn't... Hatred sort of works. Is Hatred a sorcery? Hatred. Instant, pay X life... Oh, it doesn't get it. Okay, this card's awesome. Hatred, pay X life, as an addition... 5 mana instant, as initial cost to cast this spell, pay X life, target creature gets -X until end of turn. So this is great with a flipped... This is a way of counting to 21 very quickly. It's one-time use, but if that one-time use is taking a player out of the game, so maybe this under you rather than Voltron. Yeah, kind of the game plan is Voltron them first, and then... It's all kind of the same thing, actually, but just taking the player, taking a player out of the game section is more just for one-shot cheesing them, I guess. I know we want a lot of removal. This deck wants a lot of removal just to be able to... So, I was thinking, do we want Undying effects? Because these are going to be... These are generally great bits of protection in these decks, but the one thing with this is this does cause this to flip over. It'll flip, if you're on the backside... It will come back on the front side, I believe. But then that means that it will just give everything else -2/-2 again. So that could be a nice little engine. I could see us doing that, just effectively weaponizing Zenos into a board wipe. That's kind of vibey. What do we think about that? I mean, it's leaning into what the card does. And I do kind of like that. All we need is some sacrifice outlets. And then we can just keep using this. I quite like the idea of just having this be our board wipe. So effectively, we cast it, we sack it, we supernatural stamina-ing it back into play. It will then... I've given the whole board -4/-4, and that will take out a lot of things. I do quite like that. It doesn't work as well with the backside. But we are going to have lots of ways, but it's still better than it going back to the command zone, because it is 5 mana. I think I like this. I think we might adjust this a little bit then, if we're going down this route. But it does, if we're going with the supernatural stamina stuff, it does open us up to more interesting bits of card draw, because our card draw can be the sacrifice stuff. We can vampiric, not vampiric rights. Where are they? Sack a creature, draw a card. You all know what I mean. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is the problem with Scryfall is it sometimes it does not give you what you want. I think that's at least more interesting than just another generic, just a beefy Voltron-y deck. A little bit of sprinkle. We want a little bit of spice in there. Yeah, like the Altar's Reap type stuff. I think that's quite cool because if we can do that in our card draw, and that just makes the deck quite a bit more interesting. I think let's do that. So let's add this as like protection, but let's just add quite a lot of it. I think is how we're going to do this. So again, we'll look at the numbers a bit later on, but basically all of the instants were this kind of stuff. So we might as well add it. Yeah, Malakari Rebirth needs a reprint. There's no way this card should be $12. It's a phenomenal Magic card. I run it in quite a lot of decks. Undying Malice. If anyone knows if there's any threatened effects in black, that would be helpful. But that could be quite funny. That actually works quite well with our commander. Exile target creature. Put X+1 on counters on a commander creature you control. X is the power of the creature exiled this way. So that's actually perfect with this, because if it's more than 3, it'll get counters on it, and when it flips, it'll be that's actually really good. Right, so I'm just going to add that into interaction, just because that's actually kind of perfect for the deck. We choose the creature that we have befriended, ready to stab or bite sexfully in the neck, I guess. I don't know. Why is the hashtag not working? There we go. Right, we'll come back to stuff. Right. Hell from Beyond is a... no, that's not what I want. Right, let's keep going. Sorry, we were looking at... not dead after all type stuff. As just a way of turning our commander into a repeatable board wipe. Well, there's a lot more of these than I thought there were. But they're all pretty solid. Right, protection. I think that's probably enough. Unless there's more. Undying Evil. How many do we have? Alright, we'll call it... we have 10 of these. This might be a bit too much, but we can... We did... call Whispers of Cloak and Swiftfoot Boots. So maybe we cut the boots, actually. We'll come back to this. This is fine. And Malakari Rebirth the lands. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Alright. So, let's look at this stuff now. So we have our protection. If we want some sack outlets on our to be card draw, I think we can do it this way. So we're going to run stuff like Corrupted Conviction. As additional cost, discard this spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. So with this, we can sack our commander and then bring it back into play with these effects. That's pretty vibey. And it will double up the -2/-2. Card draw. To me, this is more interesting than just Voltroning it up. We will still have that. And if most of our effects are... To an extent, this could flip again back quite easily, because all we have to do is, like, if this does die, we choose one of these, bring it back into play, and then we... Because we do... We do choose a creature... then we have to kill it again. It's fine. We will... There'll be plenty of removal in this deck. Don't worry about it. Alright. Where are we? These don't have draw a card on them. I put sacrifice a creature, draw a card. I want them to be instants, at least. Alright. Sort by mana value, please and thank you. Village Rites. Village Rites. Card draw. Deadly Dispute. Great Magic card. What else is good? Nasty End is pretty good. I think that might be it for this. I kind of want a bit more than just 2 cards, but yeah, if it's more than 2 mana, but I think that's okay. So we have 4 bits of card draw. There'll be plenty of solid bits of card draw in here. So we just want the sorcery ones. One time draw a card. Like one time draw a card effects. That is very good in black. Search by EDH rank. Let's get these in. Are people excited for Final Fantasy? I did not... When I woke up this morning, knowing I was going to do a random video, the one thing I wasn't thinking of was loading up and doing a Final Fantasy Commander deck tech. Good morning, Super Korean, or maybe good evening. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we're building Zenos Galvus from Final Fantasy. Alright, let's just get some good stuff in here. Sign in Blood is good. Card draw. Knight's Whisper. Card draw. I like these one-time effects just because they give you the cards instantly. Like, I have become less of a fan of Phyrexian Arena. Like, me and a mate had a conversation about this about a year ago now. And he kind of made the point of, like, you're spending 3 mana and you're not getting a card till the next turn. Is that good enough nowadays? And I don't think it is nowadays. Black Market Connections is a better Magic card. It is a power crept version of this, but you're still waiting it. No. Pre-combat main phase means you at least get the card that turn. Whereas waiting whole turn means Phyrexian Arena has kind of been power crept. Teasers for Sephiroth and Kefta cards. Have you excited? Very good. I'm glad. As someone who tangentially knows stuff about Final Fantasy, this is the one I'm not the most hyped for, from a thematic point of view. But I am a Magic player, and I'm always up for cool cards. So I'm hoping to see what they get. Basically, I'm hoping for some cool stuff. Because yeah, if there's cool cards, I will like it no matter what the framing or artwork is. What else do we want? What's cool? So Court of the Ring is a cheaper one, but making Zenos the Ring Bearer, I don't know how thematically... I don't know how that works in thematically or not. Palantir of Orthanc Slaps, I do like that. Alright. We'll add War Room as a land. Generic, tap and add a generic, or 3. Pay life equal to the number of colours in your opponent's colour identity. Draw a card. So 3, lose a life, draw a card. That's perfect for this deck. Just trying to think what else we kind of want. Like what's synergizing in this deck is the thing. So it's we're hitting players for a bunch of damage with Zenos. I don't think there's much in black that rewards us for like creatures' power or amount of damage dealt. That's a very green mechanic. We have Legend. We're not gaining life. Rankle? Yeah. Siphon Mind kind of works. We're kind of hitting our opponent's stuff, giving them less resources. I think that's why we're going. Need 2 more. Let's have a look. I don't mind Dark Deal. Each player discards all the cards in his or her hand, then draws that many cards. Yeah, that's a Dark Deal. And I don't hate Disciple of Bolas, actually. Just doing this with our commander when it's an 8/8 to draw 8 cards. That's still pretty good, especially if we can bring it back. Yeah, we're kind of leaning into the fact that Zenos is going to die a couple of times. That's what these are for. Yeah, I think it's more interesting than just doing Voltron stuff. Let's actually look at ways of giving our whole board Undying, because this might be another cool way that we can go with this. Basically turning this into like really leaning into the -2/-2 stuff rather than avoiding it. So if we add Machaeus, other non-human creatures you control get Undying. So it'll only work when we've flipped it. That's not the end of the world. Or is that just a massive nombo with our commander? Okay, we'll come back to that. But Cauldron of Souls is kind of a vibe. Choose any number of target creatures. Each of those creatures gain persist until end of turn. I think I've got an idea. We sort of have an aristocratic package in here. There are a bunch of cards in Magic that want to die. That could be a vibe. Is it when die, or is it when it put into a graveyard from play? When graveyard from play? I don't think they say die anymore. Let's have a quick look if it is when dies. I have an idea. We're percolating. We're working on something. This is what kind of happens when you're going into a commander deck a little bit blind. Okay, when dies. All right. All right. So when dies, we want criteria. We want power, toughness to be 2 or less stats. Toughness less than or equal to 2. So if we can do some cool stuff with this, because we already have a bunch of ways of sacrificing some dorky creatures, if we lean into this, we could have something cool. Alright. So this is not the best example, but this kind of thing of 2 mana 1/1, when it dies, each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. That could work. That could work with this. If we're giving all creatures -2/-2, like if we just weaponize our stuff dying, that is how we break symmetry. I think I like that. Let's do EDH rank. Well, let's see what we get. So, yeah, so actually Solemn in this. Solemn as a bit of ramp. Our commander triggers it dying. We want Solemn Reactant to die. That's pretty vibey, actually. Right, we're getting there. We are getting there. We are working on something. This will just be ramp, because that's what it does. But, so we could be going Blood Artist and Zulabot Cutthroat as just a way of doing stuff, because maybe Blood Artist more because we're going to be killing our opponent stuff as well. Okay, I think we are getting somewhere with this. It's a Voltron deck with an aristocrat package, or it's an aristocrat package with a Voltron deck. Don't anyone dare say we're all over the place. So this does make Grim Horror specs better whenever if we're killing a bunch of stuff when our commander comes in. If we're drawing a bunch of cards, not due to card draw. We'll make some cuts later, don't worry about it. Pawn of Ulamog. Whenever Pawn of Ulamog, another non-turn creature you control, dies, you may create a 0/1 color. So this, when it dies, we'll make a 0/1, and if we have any other board state, when they die to this, it will also... Right, this is... Okay, we're onto something now. We are now rewarding ourselves for doing stuff with our commander. We don't want proliferate. That's only non-token zombies. There's probably some cool artifact loops, but we're not leaning into that right now. Shambling Ghast. When it dies, choose one. Target creature gets -1/-1, or create a treasure token. That's not great. Like, if we were a more graveyard-based deck, stuff like Stitcher Supply would be a great example of this, of just a card that comes in, does a thing, and does a thing again when it dies. But we're not really using our graveyard that much in this deck, so I don't like that. Nested Shambler is kind of funny. When a creature dies, create X/1/1 tapped green squirrel tokens where X is its power. I kind of like that in a deck where we have all this Voltron stuff. We could make this massive, and then we have more fuel for our aristocratic stuff. This is... Okay, we're cooking. We're getting somewhere. Where we're getting to, don't worry about it. Feral Ghoul. What do you think about you? So you can't die first. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a plus one count on it. When the creature dies, each opponent gains a rad counter equal to its power. So a rad counter is at the beginning of a pre-combat main phase. If you have any rad counters, mill that many cards for each non-land card. Mill this way, you lose 1 life and a rad counter. So we do want a way of getting this up a power, but with all the protection-y spells, I kind of like it more. I think this is a vibe, actually. I've actually got way more excited about this deck since we started going this way, just because it's something a bit different. Like, basically, where we're kind of moving towards now is we still have this backup, or we still have this plan of we're going to... It's going to come into play. We are going to choose a creature of our opponent's controls that's tiny and anemic. Zenos is going to kill it and wipe our board and wipe as many 2 toughness creatures off the board as possible, including ones we gift our opponents, which we'll get to in a moment, and a bunch of our dorky stuff that we don't care about dying. That'll lower everyone's life totals, will trigger all this stuff, will be kind of cool. Then on the backside, we have this 8/8 that we can then go Voltron. I think that actually works quite nicely. It's definitely different than just me sitting here adding 20 bits of equipment to a video or to a deck. I think this is kind of vibey. I'm in for this. Vengeful Blood Witch. When you switch to another creature, you can draw dice. Target opponent, lose 1 life. Okay, that's not. That's all right, but whenever an enchanted creature dies, no, we want. We're getting in the weeds. Whenever a tangle opponent dies, we excellent creature. Dealt with this turn. That's not going to work with this. Whenever 1 or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, no. Whenever this creature or another zombie you control, no, we're not going zombies. Whenever voracious rat vermin enter the battlefield, create upon like whenever another creature you control dies, put up a counter on it. I don't think this works as we want it to. Ooh, 9 lives familiar. That works quite well in this. It's just a body that comes back again and again. I kind of like that. It's a cute Pishi. Look at the Pishi. Aristocratic package. Vindictive Lich. When it dies, choose 1 or more. Each opponent must target a different player. Target opponent attacks a creature. Target opponent discards 2 target opponent loses 5 life. That's pretty good. We can 5 life the player we want to kill. I'm into this now. Or I'm more into this. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Nope. When it enters the battlefield, we want die. When it dies, each opponent loses 3 life. Not terrible. So Doom Descent is kind of like... I want a Magic 2025 version of Doom Descent. When it dies, create a 2/2 black zombie. I want it to leave something behind. When it dies, create a 1/1 with flying. So could we Wave of Rats? We attack with Wave of Rats. When Wave of Rats... 4 mana for 2 trample. When it creature dies, if it dealt combat damage to a player this turn, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So that's pretty vibey. So we can do this on curve as well. Play this on 4, swing on 5. Cast this if it gets through combat, and then we'll get it back. That's pretty good. I like that. Alright. Plague Spitter. When plays with dies, it does 1 damage to each creature or player. We can do better. Whenever a non-token elf or berserker you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. That's pretty vibey, because that will, in theory, trigger off of everything else dying when we cast our commander. I think I like that. That would be card draw, I guess. We have lots of card draw adjacent stuff. That's pretty good. Whenever it or another human you control dies, create a zombie. That would be cool. That could be quite cool in this deck, but we are going against the zombie train, against the human train because of Machias. Right, let's keep going. There's a bunch of cool stuff that we haven't got to yet. Whenever you cast an aura, put a counter on it. When it dies, create junk tokens where it's the number of counters on it. Interesting. I don't think we want market back. Walker. When it dies, return to the battlefield transformed. Each spells... Ooh, this is kind of vibey. So let's look at a Cursed Witch. This is going to be great if we are piling onto 1 player. 4 mana, 4/2 creature human shaman. Spells your opponent's cast that target this creature cost 1 less to cast. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your opponent's control attached to target opponent. It transforms into a enchant player. Spells you cast that target enchanted player cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of enchant player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life and you gain a life. That's actually kind of really cool in this deck, because we cast a Cursed Witch, we then cast our commander, we put this curse on the player we want to kill. Because when we're picking a player, we're making it very obvious that we're trying to kill that player. Because then we only need to kill that one player for us to win the whole game. So this is it's inevitability. This part down here, at the beginning of upkeep, or I think if they're upkeep, they lose a life. So they only have that many turns left. And if we're wailing on them, that's pretty good. So this is a very much taking a player out of the game card that works quite nicely with this deck. Ooh, this is coming together. Taking the player out of the game. We have plenty of cards left. We'll keep going down through this section here, see what's good, and then we'll finish off the deck with some cool bits. So Abysmal Circle, each player. No, that does include us as well. Ooh, Body Snatcher. This is a proper Magic card. By that I mean Urza's Destiny. Ooh, 4 mana. 2/2 Phyrexian minion. When this creature enters, exile it unless you discard a creature card. When this creature dies, exile it and return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's a nice little bit of recursion. It gets a creature back. It can also scale up quite well. It will scale up quite big in the deck. Let's add you. I think this is funny. So we'll look at renaming some of these, because it's not really an aristocrat. It's more kind of like 2 toughness tribal, or 2 toughness matters. Is kind of where we are going with this. Endless cockroaches. I don't think we're going that deep on this. Where are we? You're new. When the creature dies, you draw X cards with X's. There's like X the number of counters on it. So specifically counters, it's not. It's not power. That isn't great because we can do power in this deck because of the Voltron stuff, but we can't do token. That might require rebuilding the whole deck, and we just don't have the time for that. You're kind of vibey. We're kind of getting into the more draft chaff now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of commons and uncommons I'm seeing that don't do a lot. Black Cat. Target opponent discards a card at random. We're just hating on that one player. I think I do quite like that. When it dies, return it to the battlefield. Turns into a giant creature or planeswalker by control. Beginning of upkeep. Giant player can sacrifice a non-land permanent and loses 1 life. Let's put it on the one that we want to die. That's fine. There's definitely some stuff here that we could lean into. Ooh, hold on. Is this what we're looking for? When this dies, if it wasn't a demon, return to the battlefield under its own scroll with 2+ counters on it, and it is a demon. There's some stuff like that when they die, they flip back into stuff that I was kind of looking at. Let's just see what else we've got. Driver of the Dead. That's a proper magic. This is a proper draft common. Love that. Yeah, I think we're coming to an end of this section. Ooh, the Zubera. Are we going full Zubera cycle? I've run some of these cards before. Skirk Ridge Exhumer is a fun card. Village Cannibals. I've never noticed that before. Village Rights and Village Cannibals. It's the same lot. They ate the lad. Right, I think that's where we might be leaving that. So we have some cool stuff here. Effectively, it's dies. We can search for, put into graveyard. Yeah, when put into graveyard, we'll have a quick look at that, see if there is any difference, because sometimes they do muck around with the wording. Less than or equal to 2. When enters from the battle graveyard, or you cast it from your graveyard. No, that's not what we want. Right, let's just have a quick look by EDH ranker. Let's just see if there's anything that sticks out here. So we have some similar stuff. Mariner's Apprentice is a very good aristocrat effect. This and Blood Artist, I think, are pretty good. Because normally with aristocrats, you want the ones that hit every opponent. But with this deck, we don't. We want to hit one opponent out of a game. And that's pretty good. So Blood Artist gets better. Blood Artist in Commander normally isn't that great because it's not as good as Zulaport Cutthroat, because Zulaport Cutthroat will hit every... Like, it scales for Commander. But in this deck, This is any creature dying, including our opponent's creatures, which we have this little wrath in here. That's pretty cool. But that then... we just target the one player we want to kill, basically. And we kind of get to this point where we have a way of killing them that isn't just Voltron. We have the Voltron stuff, and we have the inevitability that comes with equipping a big Voltron thing to an 8/8 flyer and hitting them. That is an inevitability, but so's just aristocratic stuff. And also, this works if we... actually, let's add the Acroan Horse now that we have the blood... and now we have whenever this creature or another creature dies, when we have this kind of stuff in here. And Clark Witchshock. These get better now that we actually have these. Aristocratic package, because we're gifting our opponents things to die that will trigger Blood Artists more. We're leaning into the front side of the commander as well as the back side. This is what we want. It's all synergy. It's not just I hit you with big flying lad. Sometimes I forget how damn good I am at this. I'm not very good at this. You just got to lean in. You have to be you have to be your own biggest fan sometimes. And getting a surprise Final Fantasy commander at 8 o'clock in the morning is definitely a vibe for that. Alright, let's see what else we got that's cool. So yeah, we're looking for stuff that when it dies, so it leaves the battlefield. So Golem is quite cool. Tormod? I don't think we're doing Tormod. We might... oh, actually, Corpse Augur. When it dies, you draw cards and lose X life, where X is the number of cards in creatures in target player's graveyard. That's a nice... we have quite a lot of card draw in this deck. I don't think that's a bad thing. It all does synergize. Like, we might maybe cut one of them just... yeah, let's just cut Read the Bones. I'm also going to cut Brass Squire, as we are a Voltron deck, but we are not the all-in Voltron deck. We're doing some cool stuff. Does combat damage player when opponent no Baragoi, such a magic card. Right, nothing sticking out to me here. It's more I just have to read all the bloody like Assassin's Creed cards. Like, don't know what they do. All right. I think we're at 46. What else do we have? So we haven't added any ramp because we are bad at this. See, you big yourself up and then you immediately forget to add a Soul Ring to a deck. All right, let's add the ramp quickly. Mana artifacts. Fine, we'll add the bloody Soul Ring. Ramp. Arcane Signet. Where are we? 5 bits. Charcoal Diamond. Failwar Stone. We are looking for bits that at least make black mana, because mono black decks, more than any, can be quite intensive with their pips. Like, look at Machias, that kind of stuff. So that's probably why I'm not just going straight for Thought Vessels here. Where are we? Extra Planar... oh, so we are a mono black deck, so we can do Extra Planar Lens, put a swamp under this, make all swamps tap for a bunch of mana, add a bunch of snow swamps, and then only we get it. That's pretty cool. We're at 8. That doesn't seem like enough. That doesn't seem like enough at all. Alright, let's just... for time benefits, let's just do the bloody... Everflowing Chalice is a 2-mana rock. As is Thought Vessel. I know, ignore what I said, I'm just adding it in. You can... the point of these categories is that you can add your own. I will update this to match what the deck actually has shortly. We're just make sure that we have enough bits to actually make the deck work. Right, so interaction. So we need ways of killing stuff. So let's just get the best bits. The best bits are not at the top of this list. That is kind of annoying. All right. Let's go to my cube. My cube has the best bits. All right. Vendetta, best bits. All right. Bit of Triumph. Come on. All right. Bit of Triumph in deck, please. We have some already? Yes, good. How much interaction do we actually have already? 2 bits now. Marvellous. Murderous Rider hits a Planeswalker. Also is a creature later in the game. That's not too bad. Snuff Out. Yeah, we're try-harding, so let's add a Snuff Out. These sorceries. So we will add Toxic. Do we want Toxic Deluge? How does it work with our commander? It's going to be an 8/8. Yes, this is probably fine. Toxic Deluge. My cube doesn't have Damnation anymore because of Damn existing, but that isn't a card we can run, so let's add Damnation. Again, you can tailor this as you want. I generally like two board wipes per commander deck nowadays, and then the rest just targeted removal or ways of interacting with stuff. So we will add Withering Torment as a way of destroying an enchantment, which isn't something that black normally gets, but it's got it twice now. We will add Infernal Grasp because it's just good. And the point of these is that we are doing it to the friend that we pick is the one that we're going to be targeting this if the -2/2 doesn't work. So go for the throat. Fine. Let's just. How try hard? Yeah, right, fine. Well, that Deadly Rollick. If you picked up the, what do you call it, Secret Lair, then you can add this. Otherwise, again, just pick the 10 bits of targeted removal that you like the most. I really like Tragic Slip actually. Like the 10 bits that you like the most, and add 2 board wipes. This is the ones I've gone for because they are generically solid and good. But you can run whatever you want. So we have 65. So that's actually 64 if we include that. So that's actually the deck. Let's have a look at this. I think there's a couple more cards I want to add. Like maybe we cut Silent Arbiter now for some other bits. What else? I think I want 1 or 2 more bits of stuff like Vorpal Sword, just a way of that player loses the game. Let's actually search for that, I think, and then we'll probably have to call it there. But I think this deck is looking rad, actually. Player loses the game. All right. Yeah, so Phage is not the best Magic card. Phage is a very dumb and stupid Magic card, but we're adding Phage. Phage says it's 7 mana, so it's our top end. Don't worry about it. When Phage enters, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. Don't worry about it. Whenever Phage deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature, it can't be regenerated. And whenever Phage deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. That's phenomenal. We love that. That with a way of giving it, way of giving it unblockable, which we only have which we will have a couple of, means that we flip this, we choose a player, we attack with Phage, we take him out of the game. That's so vibey. Vorpal Sword as well. Yes, it does require 8 mana, but until end of turn, target creature gains whenever a quick creature does combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. We love that. When a child player loses the game... No, so there's other cards that... What the hell is this? Am I even going to read this? Remove this card from your deck before playing a game if not playing for ante. Well, I don't need to read any more. Love that. Yeah, alternate win cons could be a cool way of doing this. Actually, hold on. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a point count on it. So this doesn't work as well because you need to hit delete. It's not like you hit it with a 10-10, they get 10 counters and they lose. This is much more. You need to hit with 10 things, which we're not going to be doing. I think we can go for Sorin. Target opponent's life total becomes 10. That is a great way of taking the player out of the game. This I think you really can muck around with a bit more. Let's just have a look. So we let's quickly do utility lands. So yeah, again we're tryharding. So let's do Cabal Coffers and Urborg. We'll do Shizo as a way of giving as a bit of evasion. The nice part about this is that the flip side commander does have evasion, but we do want some bits to give Phage unblockable. Command Beacon is going to be good in this deck because our commander could be dying a fair bit. Ooh, Cathedral of War. That's a vibe. Just buff it up 1 if we only attack with our commander. That's good. Where's just... So I swear is there not a land that just makes a creature unblockable? Can't be blocked. Oh, hold on. I think one of these lands gives it shadow, actually. I will find these at some point. Oh, this one, yeah. Put a shadow count on target creature as long as it remains it's a wraith counter. It has shadow, so shadow is a great form of evasion. We love that. Minas Morgul was what I was looking at there. I swear there was a land that like means you can't be blocked. But we are coming to time. Thank you all very much for being here. This kind of immediately... the plan, best laid plans and such. Did we have Rogue's Passage? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Rogue's Passage wasn't in the deck. Wild. Then Blackgate does it as well. Okay, let's recap. So I think we might need to make a couple of cuts. So 9, so we're on 67 cards. So we're like 2 or 3 over. I think we can cut some bits. Probably somewhere in the card draw. Like there'll be a one about bad bits. Like Dark Deal, just a bit generic actually. Remove you and yeah, Siphon Mind this bit. Okay, so this is down. So this is 65 cards in the main deck. That's pretty good. I think I like this deck actually. I've definitely come around to it. It's so you can just build this just leaning into the Voltron, doing that kind of stuff. Now hold on. We should add the bloody worm, shouldn't we? As a board wipe. What's the black worm? 2 secs. 2 secs. This is kind of the problem we go on. You just have too many cool cards that you want. Massacre Worm? Massacre Worm is not a worm? Or... Massacre Worm. Whenever a creature an opponent controlled... Yeah. Does quite nicely in the deck. Right. Add you to interaction. Okay, cool. Right. I think this deck looks pretty cool, actually. So kind of the game plan is... We're going to be getting bits into play, building up this aristocrat package, ramping, drawing cards, getting ourselves to that point. We're building up our aristocrat package. We then play our commander. We, at this point, are hoping our opponents is going to have a dorky, like, 1/1 creature or something like that. Hopefully, because of things like a Crow and Horse, we might have been able to, or Clack Patrol, we might have been able to gift them. We could lean into this section a little bit more. But basically... We are trying to kill a creature. Like, the moment we cast this, we are wanting that creature to die. So that this then flips immediately into an 8/8. At this point, we name a player and then we go all in on that player. So we are going to be Accursed Witching them, Phaging them, Soaring them. Maybe we can cut Silent Arbiter actually, but like doing these alt win conditions, all this Voltron stuff to just haymaker that one opponent so that we can win. We have some protection. We have a lot of protection actually as a way of keeping it around. But if it comes back on the other side, worst case, it just does the board wipe again. Like, if they kill this side, we're just going to do this. Everything's going to get -2, -2, and then the aristocrat stuff kind of comes into play. That's a nice little engine. This is way... I think going this way is a touch more interesting than just going Voltron. But again, if you want to build this just by suiting up this 8/8, by all means, crack on. But I think that's where we're going to end it for today. Thank you all very much for being here. Yeah, a bit of a weird one. I want to do more of these. And yeah, the random nature of things means we could have got Dorky Legend from Legends, but we ended up getting from a set that hasn't come out yet. I guess that is the joy of randomness. But yeah, this was a ton of fun. Thank you all for your support this week. Much appreciated. Do remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, I will put a link to this deck in the show notes below if it's not there already. Yeah, let me know what changes you would make. How would you build Zenos? This is... not having anything to go on, just looking at the card and building something. I think we've done pretty well in an hour. We've fully found an archetype and fully found a package that is unique to this commander. This isn't like anything else. Like, where else do you have Voltron and a cool aristocrat package with alt win cons? That's the joy of Commander. The more you think about something, the more cool things that you can come up with. But yeah, that's what we're going to do it for today. Thank you all very much for being here. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll see you then. Enjoy your weekend, all. You all take care. Goodbye.